Good morning, folks. So this is the 580B that I purchased a few weeks back, 3 weeks, nearing a month now. Give you a frontal view. Walk around. Give you a close up at the engine. So, a lot of people may say that a 580B is really too old to buy if you plan on doing any backhoe work on a daily or weekly or monthly even schedule, or buying it for your business, which is usually the case. But if you can find one that really hasn't been run hard or hasn't been run that often, you're just as well to buy an older backhoe. Now, I wouldn't want to go too old. 580B is about as old as I'd want to go as far as buying one to use for a business, and you have to be very careful doing it. This machine, the only reason that I purchased this machine was because it had 4,900 true hours on it, and you can really tell that they're true, and I'll show you how you do that. But I haven't started this backhoe today. You can see that it has no smoke. Starts on the first revolution. And has plenty of power. Very powerful machine. Now everything is still cold. Barely started the engine. That's a steel line rattling that I haven't got to yet, that I need to put new clips on. That's at idle, folks. Idle. Very responsive hydraulics. Very powerful hydraulics. And I love the fact with these old tractors, there's no solenoids, very minimal electrical. Still runs on a kill cable. Now I'm going to give you a few tips when you go to purchase a backhoe. Number one, how do you know that you really need a backhoe? Okay, do you really need one to purchase, or can you get by with renting one? Me, I really honestly don't have a need for a backhoe. I bought this tractor because I've always wanted one. It's one of those things. As you can see, plenty of other equipment here. Always wanted a backhoe though. This was one of my favorite machines, so I jumped on it since it was a good price. I bought this tractor for $6,500. I now have into it right around $8,000, doing all the work myself. Okay, I've rebuilt the two boom cylinders. Right now I have the dipper cylinder out. This cylinder was apart when I bought it. The rod was bent, severely bent, so I straightened that in the press, put it on the lathe and polished it up real nice. New seal kit. Both outriggers have been done. The front two steering cylinders, I've done both of these with new ball joints, all four of them. I still have yet to do the tie rod ends. I have to do kingpin bearings and new keyway. So I've done a full service engine, transmission, differential, and hydraulic. The loader cylinders and the bucket tilt cylinders have not been done yet, but they are not leaking, so I will wait for that. As you can see, the hoses are very poor. I have begun replacing hoses. I haven't got to these yet. I haven't really got to the front of the machine yet. I had the radiator built, was the first thing I did. I resealed the hydraulic pump. I resealed the timing cover with new hoses, fan belt. I took the hydraulic pump shaft off, sandblasted it, greased it, put it back together. Took the front grill apart. Of course I had to do that to get the pump out anyway. Go ahead and painted that all up. New hoses in the front, new headlights. The front tires are in very good condition. The back are about 50, maybe a little less. I will be doing those. Today I'm going to be getting the swing cylinders apart. The bucket was in excellent condition, and it came with a 1-foot bucket as well. I'm just kind of going around showing you the machine since I haven't done that yet. I've rebuilt the hydro leveler with some new hoses here. What else have we done? Air filter, obviously. Basically just going over the whole machine, doing anything and everything that needs to be done. I've still yet debated whether or not I'm going to paint this machine. I honestly don't think I am, since it's just going to be for use and not for sale. This one, I've never worked on a machine, especially a backhoe, any piece of excavation equipment, honestly, new or used, that I have been able to get every single pin out of this machine. I've been able to pull it out by hand. Okay, everything was super well greased. There's no damage really to the boom, other than I've seen this here, which they had welded a plate in and put a bracket for the hoses, and they might have had a little small crack going here. I'm not really sure, but I'm 99% positive that's what that was. Probably a minor crack. So they went ahead and took care of that. There's absolutely no slop in the bucket or any of the pins. This tractor was sat for most of its life. I do know that because it was piled up in some brush from the previous owner, which apparently had been working on this machine because he had that back cylinder part and some of the other ones done, and something happened. I don't know if it had to do with his health. I don't know. It's not for me to speculate that. Bucket still has an awesome cutting edge. There's really no wear on anything that I've found. There's no wear. But some of the things you want to look for if you are going to purchase a backhoe, especially an older one. Okay, what you want to do is start the machine up, raise the boom, okay, move it side to side. You want to get that side to side movement. What you want to look for is slop in your bucket pin, okay, slop in your dipper pin, slop in your pivot pin, slop in your 2 swing tower pins, slop in your swing cylinder pins. Okay, get your RPMs revved up about halfway, lift the boom, slop in your boom cylinder pins. Again, you'll see slop in your pivot pin if there is any. Get the arm extended out, put some pressure on it. Okay, how many parts are moving when you do that? You know, is there major slop? Is there cylinders leaking? Because if you can't do the cylinders yourself, it gets very expensive. And any older used machine, I recommend doing the radiator first thing off. Get the radiator rotted out. Change all your fluids. Okay, that's the only way you're going to know that you're safe to roll. Don't take someone's word for it. Okay, come back here to the back of the machine is where the business end is. Okay, inspect your control valve. Make sure it's not leaking. These bearings, okay, there are bearings in here for these swing cylinders. You want to make sure that you don't have tons of slop in those. Okay, you have bearings on each of your outrigger arms and cylinders. Make sure they're not broken. Okay, look under the machine. Look at your axle. Look at your transmission, your engine. Make sure you have no leaks. Now, the only thing on this tractor that I found, and I mean the only thing, that had any kind of slop or play in it at all, was this pivot pin. Okay? Was the only thing that I found that had a little play in it, which is not really a big deal. Okay, I wasn't too concerned with that. What I'll end up doing is removing this pin, kind of machining this out a little bit, putting some weld in there, using a flapper wheel, get it nice and flat, put a new pin in, and call her good.